Hey guys, this is Samir. For those who don't know me, and for those who do know me, this is probably going to be very alarming and very all of a sudden, and possibly quite worrying. A lot of people might not know that I've been dealing with these problems. A lot of people might not even know that I've been dealing with mental health issues, or that I had this horrible experience in my play. I've been holding this for 9 months, probably even a little bit longer. I've kept silent because I got scared that people would just call me weak or invalidate my trauma. And I got scared that I just didn't think my issues would matter. I regret it, and I don't want to let this go any longer. When I spoke out, more people came up to me and told me that they had a similar incidents with this person. One person even told me they changed their major because of their experience, and I don't want that to happen. So I'm going to share my story. I want to highlight mental health because mental health is an issue that's been ignored way too much, and I want to address narcissism in theater. Please bear with me because this is a very hard subject for me to talk about. This is the first time I'm publicly opening myself up to this in front of a camera with my own voice. So I won't waste any other time. I'll get into it. So, in the fall semester 2019, which is almost a year from now, well, it's almost been a year, I auditioned for this play called Dark Knights the Musical. It was an original play produced by my college, and I mainly auditioned because I want to get experience. I want to test singing range, put more stuff on my resume, experience, well verse myself in an actor. I'm sorry about this, by the way. It's just not easy, but yeah, I just wanted to improve myself as an actor, and I also wanted to impress a certain someone, but that's an issue for another time, which I'm not gonna get into. So after the auditions, I got casted as a non-main character because I was a freshman. My director, she liked my energy, she liked everything, but she even joked around about saying that she kind of had to give seniors a certain role, and also because she doesn't really know my experience so well, and also a lot of people did fit the role better, and a lot of people have, and we had amazing talent in the cast. I'm not gonna discredit that one bit. But yeah, I decided to stay on because I wanted to get more experience and everything. At first I was on the fence because it was a it was basically a background character with few lines. I'd still sing and everything. I'd be part of the chorus. I still have things to do. Well, I got more things to do when more people started leaving the cast due to other circumstances. But yeah, throughout that experience, we would have to rehearse songs, and the boys were paired with the boys because in choir, the vocal ranges matches more. The girls pair with the girls and everything. So among the cast was a guy named Patrick Nix, who played the male lead. Was also named Devin. That's the role name. I tried being nice to him. I tried working alongside him to help better myself for the play and overall produce a good show because theater is an ensemble. We all have to work together. We're a cast. I think we should just view each other as family. And I was technically inexperienced. I'd never been in a musical, at least to a singing capacity. I didn't want to mess it up. It was my first semester at University of New Orleans. I wanted to make a bright future for my acting career, but from the experience I've been through, the only times he was ever nice to me was in character, as we would run the shows. He's done a bucket list of things that make me feel like complete shit. During our scene rehearsal, we were doing blocking for the song. So blocking, for those who don't know, is the movement on the stage, how you're gonna choreograph everything. So our choreographer paired me up with him and another co-star. So they were just talking, cause they were kind of close to each other, and They decided to make fun of me by saying, "Who is this guy?" Thinking he could be with the main guys because they were both like two of the main characters. So one of the co-stars, I'm gonna keep nameless because I don't know if he'd want to be directed in this. Only went along with the joke, and he iterated that he was joking, but the lead, Patrick, never did, and never apologized for that, and stuff like that just kind of condemned me. Not condemned me, but it just made me feel lesser. And later on, another thing, basically, like, I made a list of this twit longer, but I'm not gonna take everything from this twit longer because it's easier for me to vocalize it and get it from memory, but I'm using this as like a template, basically. When the music producer of the song came over or whatever, everyone got worried because we've been doing the songs without him being in the cast with us, and so the person, he decided to make a joke with the co-star saying, "What if he just says, 'No, you ruined my song. I don't think you should get the role of Devin. How about you get lowered to the role of Eric?'" Which was my character. I was supposed to be given, it was a character I was supposed to come up with myself, create the name for, and basically, like, do every little thing I could to stand out. Every little thing I could get enhanced performance. The little lines I had, I would try to practice and practice to make sure that I didn't mess anything up, that I didn't ruin the play, that I at least gave a good performance, and that I was at least memorable. The fact that he said that hurt me. The fact that it was just a joke hurt me because I tried everything I could to enhance that performance, and to feel lesser, just, it doesn't help. I tried breathing life into every action I had. I tried just showing my energy and my performance. I tried giving myself like opportunity, and like I'm trying doing the best out of the opportunity my director gave me because that's what she did. She gave me an opportunity to be in her work, and I appreciate that wholeheartedly. And I want to get this out there. I have nothing against the director. She was the utmost amazing person to me, and I'm forever grateful for that. So during the show, I went through multiple things. I got let on for 5 months by someone that I actually wanted to do the play for, because they were a big fan of musicals. I also sustained a shoulder injury during the rehearsal process, so I actually had to wear a sling for a couple weeks because I dislocated my shoulder. It popped out of socket, and the ligaments had to take time to heal. So during the rehearsal process, we had to do like physical choreography or whatever, and at the time I was just incredibly depressed because I had to hold off on working out, and the idea of surgery was still a mystery. I didn't know if I'd need it or not, and that's scary because the MRI stuff didn't come back, and I possibly couldn't need surgery, but so I was just in a dark place at the time, and obviously not being able to go to the gym is just depressing because you're thinking, what if you lose all your muscle mass? What if you lose all the gains? The thing is, I used to be obese in middle school. I thankfully got fit during my high school years, and thanks to the people at my CrossFit gym for pushing me on. But at that time, I was just worried about just like being the person I was in middle school. And to make things worse, while I was having all that in my mind, while I had the sling physically there, not only is he just filling up his ego by constantly pulling up his shirt to show his abs in front of the mirror, but he started constantly trying to flex by showing how strong he is, by doing push-ups, followed by one-arm push-ups. Keep in mind, I'm in a sling during this, so just seeing that made me feel self-conscious. It felt like a slap in the face, like, oh, I can't do this because my right arm hurts. My right shoulder isn't capable of doing that, and he was basically just egoing himself up because he had a shirtless scene and whatnot. Even like if it wasn't directed at me, I feel like you need to understand your social surroundings with stuff like that. and just like know that like what you do can affect other people. He'd only ever open his mouth to me to just say something condescending, point out a fault in me or my work, or try to discourage me. So like some examples happened where like if I were trying to jump into conversation, he'd ignore me. One time we were discussing our crowd being too rowdy because one time during a high school performance, like they were being they were doing the most. Some of us would have to go into the crowd during a song. Like they kept being too rowdy, and I basically like whispered to a crowd member, like y'all are great, but please just like let them do their thing. And I basically told like when I was in the locker room, I was basically like saying, yeah, I basically kind of told him to shut the fuck up. So he took it, he spun the words and took his like, I don't think it would be a good idea to tell them to shut the fuck up. And it made me feel outed because after that, when I tried to talk, he wouldn't say a word back or keep in the conversation. He'd pretend I didn't exist unless it was to make me look bad like that. So that kind of annoyed me. I'm trying to remember like what during strike he couldn't pick up the stage equipment, so he straight up walked to me and said, Samir, don't try to pick it up, I already tried. And I started talking to another castmate about a song because we were trying to figure out the vocal ranges and like who would work best for what. I offered, and then he opened his mouth just to tell me you can't do that because we were already working on that or whatever, which was correct. But the thing is, he basically didn't acknowledge me as a cast member. He'd only talk if it were to either discourage me or put me down or something like that. Just I completely felt like I've said it before, like the only time I felt like I was like welcomed by him was when we're doing the play, and at that point we're in character because the whole thing is we're supposed to be high school friends and all like that. But I need a moment for this one because this genuinely hurt me. So our dress rehearsal was basically our first performance. We had like a small crowd, but yeah, so there was a lot going on. People were like scared because the rehearsal was going weird and everything. And after the locker room, so okay, I'm sorry. We have a mic pack basically that goes around to our waist and connects the microphone to our ear. So they put condoms on it to make sure it doesn't slip. And so when the cast of guys gets done for the performance, we get out. And, you know, the boys are playing around with the condoms because that's just how guys are. People like to joke or whatever. And so, like, they're doing, like, sexual jokes and everything and just playing up. That's what you expect. So while they're making jokes and all, I started to take out mine and whatever. And the lead goes, I don't really feel comfortable seeing Samir hold up that condom. So I basically got outed in front of my peers. And at first, I didn't know, I got the wrong vibe. And I was trying to make a joke about it, so I tried playing along. And then he practically told me, no, shut up, we've already made that joke. Stop being childish. Like, that's not word for word what he said. But he basically did say that, stop making that joke. And I felt embarrassed being outed in front of my peers like that. I felt embarrassed just, like, being sidelined and, like, not feeling like I was a part of my cast. And most importantly, I felt ashamed of myself. Everything he's done, and all his actions definitely hurt, but that was kind of the final straw. It just burst out all the pain. I still remember that day. I went home crying my eyes out on the car ride home. My family saw me teary-eyed and asked me what was wrong, and as I proceeded to ask them to leave me alone the whole night, they just kept wondering, and I was just pissed. I was angry with myself. Our next day was opening night. I contemplated suicide. I genuinely was on the verge of it, and I've had friends constantly try to reach out to me, but I didn't want their help. Like, as someone As someone who's had pain with mental health, and someone who's been through this situation, this felt different because most times when people feel the need, like when people feel like they want to kill themselves, they don't want to end their life. They just want the pain to go away, but because of that situation, because of that circumstance, I felt embarrassed to be who I am. I felt embarrassed at who I was. I felt good for nothing, like I didn't even matter to the player, my castmates. I felt like I didn't even want to show up to opening night because I just felt like an embarrassment. I didn't want to embarrass myself in front of hundreds of people. I was embarrassed to be Samir Khalil, the person. Like, I felt like my dreams of being a superhero in a Marvel movie felt crushed. I felt insignificant. The only thing that withered away my desire to do that was... No, let me rephrase that, I'm sorry. The only thing that made me not go through with it was my director. The project was special to her. So Dark Knights was... It was very... She's been trying to get it out for 4 to 5 years. It was a very, like, close to heart project with her. And if I went through with my actions that day, I didn't want to turn opening night into, like, a day of mourning or put a negative stain on her production. Because that would just be selfish. She gave me an opportunity to be a part of it. She gave me an opportunity to be a part of her life, like her dream and her hard work, and I didn't want to do that. And after that, I felt alone and separated from the cast. It hurt because 2 weeks before that, I went to the doctor, my doctor, and he told me that I would need to get surgery immediately, and that made me think, because if I had to be put in a sling again, or go to surgery, or be off, I'd have to put off the play 2 weeks before opening night. And everyone was already stressed out because the blocking wasn't 100% there yet. The performance wasn't 100% there yet. If you lose another castmate, it would just mess up everything, because I'd have to take this block and do that. I'd have to be at this moment and do this, and then it would just mess it up and stress them out. And I didn't want to do that. I didn't. So I held off on it. Thankfully, I didn't need surgery, but from my doctor, they told me that they needed it. But I went again to someone who's actually experienced. They told me that I would just need physical therapy. But the fact was, even if I didn't, I wouldn't. Even if I did need surgery, I didn't want to do that to the cast. And it also hurt me because we needed to fill up spaces for the high school audience. Like, we were going to get some high schools to watch. I brought in my high school to come see the play, like 50 people. And it's bad when my director says, please turn your heads and say thank you to Samir, as he got his old high school to come to our show. So everyone said thank you to Samir, but that kind of hit me because it genuinely felt like she has to direct them to show their appreciation towards me. I don't know if it was because I was a freshman or whatever, or it's like the new kid, but I just didn't feel welcome. I felt outcasted by the play. They had a group chat that I wasn't in. They've held events and went to see Rocky Horror Show. Didn't even bother to ask if I wanted to go. They felt scared to speak in general while in the men's locker room because of the lead. Because I felt scared that if I tried to jump into a conversation, I'd just get condemned like that again. I feel like I would just get outed for the same stuff. So every day, I would just put on my costume, and I would just go to the piano room and mind my own business until it was showtime. Don't get me wrong, there were like 3 people who genuinely made me feel special in the cast, and I'm forever grateful for them. But this along with the shoulder lead, like the shoulder injury, and being led on by someone that I care for a lot, and plus this fall semester just devastated me. For those wondering like why it took me so long to come up with the stories, because I was scared. I was scared that I was gonna be called weak. Because, you know, the whole notion, have tough skin, alright? If you hurt yourself or whatnot, you're not strong enough or whatever. And that's what people say. That's the thing. I was scared to bring it up to a stage manager or, like, my director because I didn't want to overcomplicate things. I didn't want to seem like I was just being too soft or whatever. And some people might argue that now. It's just... I didn't want to start drama for it. I didn't want to ruin the show. I've even tried to make amends with that actor, but it didn't work. And the thing is, this isn't like always how film/theater should be. During this time, I was also working on a short film called B&E, Breaking and Entering, and it was genuinely the most fun I've had on set. Shout out to Zachary Hennessy, an amazing director, an amazing man. Treated me with the utmost welcome. I felt a part of the cast. Even when we were done, he offered for me to just hang out with the cast and have fun. There is really great leads over there. Some people came in from California. They were already successful. If anything, they had a right to put me down, if anything. They were way more insignificant than I was, but they showed me. They treated me with love, and they treated me with care. They'd always welcome me. They say, "Hey, what's up, Naveen?" And I'm forever grateful for that, because that's how we should treat each other. I feel like film and theater, we need to treat our castmates like our family, because we need to look out for each other, because that's what we're doing. We want to make our work supportive of each other. We want to support each other to make this work the best thing we could possibly make. It just hurts me because theater is an ensemble-driven career. But everyone's just in it for themselves. Everyone just cares about their spotlight, how they're going to succeed, how their performance is going to get them better jobs. And it just annoys me. And if my peers see this and they want to discourage me for being weak, but I'm sorry, I can't stand for this. I just can't keep this to myself anymore. And I want this to be an example of how you should treat your castmates. Because at the end of the day, we all want opportunity. We all want to succeed. We all want to be fed. We all want to make a living off this. So please, let's support each other. We gotta be there for each other, alright? Because I personally viewed my castmates as special. Like, I'd stick out for them, but I don't think they do the same for me. Clearly. And I'm tired of letting this toxic behavior get rewarded. And people spoke out to me about this certain person. They told me that he would often show up late when they were paired up for a project. He would forget his lines and everything, and he would treat her horribly. And this person, she ended up switching her major from theater to film because of that, and I hate that. I hate that because I can't allow that. As an actor, as someone who wants to call themselves an inspiration, I hate that. With every soul being in my body, every fiber, every muscle, I hate the idea that someone makes people want to give up on their dreams. Because no one should feel like they have to give up on their dreams because someone else, all right, has an inspiration. I want my work to inspire people. I want people to feel like they can chase their dreams. I want people to feel like they have a purpose in life. Okay, I don't care about the money. I don't. I care about being an inspiration to others because at the end of the day, when I'm gone, I'm not taking the money with me, but guess what? My work will be immortalized and I'll be able to help people for generations and generations, and that's what I want. I don't want people to have to bear the same pain that I did. I don't want people to bear the same pain anymore. The fact that he hurt other people hurts me. Because what if he does it to someone else? What if he makes someone else give up on their dream? Heck, what if he pushes someone to the lanes he pushed me? And what if they go through with it? I'll forever feel guilty for that. Because I want to help people. I want to be an inspiration. Because mental health has gone unavoided. It's gone avoided by a lot of people. People think it's a joke. People think it's just people being weak or people being too sensitive these days. No. It took Etika. It took Etika killing himself to make people last year realize that it's a big deal. And they were just calling him crazy, and they called him Etika clown and everything. They were memeing it. They were making it a joke. They were making his mental health a joke. Until he died. And he can never come back because all the people he's inspired, including me, will never get over that pain. Sometimes, even because of the situation, I'm like, why am I even on this earth? Why am I allowed to live when he's done more things than me? When he's a better person than I am? When he's a bigger inspiration than me? Because I want to be like him. I want to carry his legacy. He inspired me. He's helped me through darkest times. Listen, therapy helps. It does. Coping helps, but him, it didn't feel like I was coping. It felt like I was genuinely happy seeing him. If I was heartbroken, I would watch him. He would always liven up my mood. And now he's gone. Because of mental health. This year we also lost someone named Hana Kimura, an amazing wrestler, a true warrior. We lost her because people just felt the need to bully her. They wanted to agonize her pain. Now we lost her. And for those of you who don't want to take mental health serious, I advise you to take it serious. Because you're gonna think it's a joke until someone close to you is experiencing it. Has experienced the pain of depression. And if they hurt themselves or lose themselves, you can never take that back. You can never bring them back, and you're gonna be... And the pain is horrible. You're gonna realize that it's not a joke, that it's not a myth, and I don't want anyone to feel that pain. The thing is, this is not even a thing just in theater and film. Someone reached out to me and told me that they felt pain like this while they're in a marching band. They felt like just a shadow, like a puppet, and no one should feel like that. No one should feel like they're insignificant. There's too much narcissism in this world. We put each other down, so please. I advise you guys, just reach out to someone. Make sure they're doing alright. Tell them you love them. Tell them how much they mean to you, whether whether you know them or not, alright? Feeling welcomed by someone, feeling like you matter goes a long way. As someone who's felt like they don't amount to shit, feeling like I matter to someone meant the world to me. And that could be the same thing for someone else. That could be the difference between life and death. So please, please, I encourage you guys to do that. And if you're in a play, if you're in a film set, appreciate your peers. Appreciate the sacrifices they made to be there. Appreciate the time they put in there, because it took a long journey for them to get there, to get where they're at. So please, just acknowledge them and respect them for who they are. There's someone I want to thank with my wholehearted respect and gratitude. And that man is Ethan Carter III. That's his performer name, also known as EC3. First story rundown: he was a guy who was fired during the COVID pandemic, misused, mishandled by the same company that fired him once, and he proved his worth and got hired again. He got fired. Instead of complaining on a podcast or talking bad about the company, he reinvented himself. He knew his self-worth and created this lifestyle that advised one to just control their narrative. It's not just some slogan. He would control his narrative. That's the whole thing. He knows his worth. He's not going to let himself become a slave to corporate, to love, to others. He's working for himself, and that inspired me because I've been dealing with this pain for too long. I've been at the brink of suicidal thoughts many times, so him reaching that idea and making it a reality inspired me to be the best version of myself, because control your narrative to me is me being the best version of myself, me taking what I can control and strengthening that to where my narrative cannot be ignored. And I've actually I've spoken with him about this story. And he asked me, like, what has he done that made me inspired by him? And I told him this story. Well, a very brief, a very condensed version. And he told me, thank you for sharing, and please, I know a lot of people will not do this, but support him. Follow him if you want to. His ads are the real EC3 on Instagram and Twitter. If you could DM him a thank you, like if I mean a lot to you. And like the fact that I'm still here and persevered through this means a lot to you. Like, I think he's the one to thank, because he gave me a new lease on life, and I will forever be grateful for that. I hope it can do better. I genuinely hope so. I hope my story can reach a good amount of people. I hope my story will acknowledge the problem with theater, the problem with narcissism, the problem that we have for not treating our castmates properly. The thing is, I think we should definitely take this as a learning opportunity. Everyone makes mistakes. Everyone can grow from them. What I'd advise is speak out to someone before it's too late. To the director, to the stage manager, whatever. Tell them what's going on, because it's important to know. It's genuinely important for stuff like this. I wish I did it in the past. I wish I spoke out sooner, but I didn't. And as much pain as this person caused me, that night will never leave my mind, because I laid in bed not wanting to make it the next day. I don't know if I should show this, but sorry. The fact that... Okay. No hiding this. That night, I would lay in bed with this sword, hoping that I'd impale myself. Because I didn't want to go through with the next day. I didn't want to be myself anymore. And as much pain as it made me go through, as some people might want to just call me overdramatic or whatever, I hope this is a lesson. I think everyone needs to be held accountable for their actions. Even myself. Because I'm not a perfect person. I'm far from a perfect person. I've done horrible things in the past before. I'm not 100% an amazing person. I strive to be the best person I can be, but we all make mistakes, and I genuinely hope he can learn from his mistake. If he wants to succeed in this world, I hope that he doesn't treat anyone else this way, and I hope that he can change as a human being, as a person, as an actor. Because it disgraces me calling him a peer, or a castmate, or even an actor if he's gonna do things like that. I'm probably gonna get a lot of hate for this. I'm probably gonna get a lot of negative comments or whatnot, and so it's all to the power's all up to you guys. And for those who might not have been aware of this, like, some people might have just been finding out, like some people from my CrossFit gym, if this story gets out to them, this is gonna be the first time like they are aware of my mental health, and I'm sorry for not addressing it sooner. And some people might wanna throw violence at this person. I'm very capable of defending myself, and that's my point, is defending myself. I don't believe in physical violence unless I am being physically threatened or someone I love is being physically threatened. So please, abolish that hatred, because we're not going to get anywhere with that hatred. We're just going to create a continuous cycle of revenge if you let your life be controlled by that hatred. You get what I'm saying? So, I think this wraps up my thoughts. I thank you so much for listening. I hope you all have a good day.